Welcome to Trading Lounge and the SP 500 for the 29th of April, and starting on the weekly chart here, as you know, we're looking at wave 3 over here, an A and a B and a C for wave 4. If that's the case, then we'll see 5 waves moving up here for wave 5 into a bullish mode. We're a long way off that. One of the key, there's a couple of key ways we could look at that possibly happening. One of them, as I mentioned at the low down here, was finding the 3000 as the support. Currently we're at the 61.8% retracement level, so in this box we can fail from here. One of the other things about looking at this in terms of wave 1 and 2 here and getting evidence for that is to look at 5 waves moving up through here. So if we have a quick look at some of the other stocks, other markets, this is the Dow Jones here, and just really want to point out here that we do have one wave here, or 5 waves of correction, and then another 5 waves here. So we've got 3 waves here, but now we're getting this little move up here. In fact, this is Monday, so Tuesday's taken the top out here, yeah, so it has taken the top, but so we're getting more than 3 waves to the upside now. This will become more apparent on some of the other markets. If I can just scroll through here, this is the Nasdaq 100 here. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 here and 4 here. Haven't quite taken out the top there, but on the Nasdaq comp, we have taken the top out here. So it's really giving us that indication of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. Yes, we could look at it and count it differently. We could go wave 1 here and wave 2 here, wave 1 here and 2 here, and looking at another sort of sequence here. But in a lot of cases, this pullback here, pullback 38.2%. So kind of nice to sit it in there as a 4th wave at least. All the Qs here, the triple Q, cubes, whatever you call them, the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 5 here. This is only Monday's top here. But once again, because we're taking out that top there, that's really quite significant. That tells me that we've got further to go to the upside. In this little move from this low here, sure, we could still be in a corrective move here, but the simple fact that we've made a new high here, that means that we could have an A and a B and a C wave here and then move up from here. Either way, or go straight up from here. Either way, we've moved past the 3-wave structure here. So that's really, that's the key thing. This is the Russell here. So with the Russell here, it's been a little bit lazier. It hasn't moved up as much. But the same thing occurs here as well. We've got this 5 impulse wave here, and we've made new highs here. So yeah, we could look at this as an A, B, C for an A wave here, a B wave here, and a C wave moving up through here further. We've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've still got further to move up on this one as well. Let's just have a look at what else we've got here. We've got the SP 400, not the 500, but the 400. And you can see, once again, we've taken out this top here as well on the Monday. So it's giving us more than the 3-wave corrective move here. So this is just one little piece of the puzzle. This is the SP 500, so it's easier to see it in the 400 than it is in the 500 here. But the same thing, we're onto it. There is a little gap up here at the 3000, and the 3000 to me is a major trading level, and we'll see. If that goes up there, that the gap gets covered. The other gap is further up here, of course. Not a big deal on stocks, on the stock market, but on the futures market, it's a bigger deal. And the next one is the SPY. So the SPY, and in this case here, I'm fortunate enough to have the volume on it on this one here, and you can see that the market has moved up, but it's moved up on lower volume. Now, that's what you would call divergence, and that's what you would look in the indicators for, like the RSI, when you get your 2 little humps and so on. You can narrow this down into weekly. Let's just have a check that out on the weekly chart here. You can see it more clearly and more refined here in this. So I mean, for a trend to be a trend, then you need increased volume. So we can see that this strong bar down through, whoops, if I can bring that down a little bit. If we just a little lesson on volume, you can see the bar that's moved down through here is on higher volume. The rally that we had here, a corrective rally, is on lower volume than the previous bar. And then we've got this moved lower through here on increased volume. This one has moved down, it's on lower volume than this one just, but the range is shorter here. And then we've got all these bars that move up. I expect this one to come down here to be on lower volume as being corrective. That tells me that it's corrective being on lower volume. But these ones here, this is the divergence here occurring here. So, you know, I can understand why people see this as, you know, as a corrective rally because the whole thing is on lower volume. So, you know, I'm not lost on the fact that this move that we've got coming up through here can resolve here and then have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. But in one way or another, you know, that divergence that we're seeing between price and volume will create this wave 2 pullback at least. When I'm looking at, I don't have it in front of me here, this volume is quite, you know, when we look at the S&P 500 rather than the SPY, we actually have got more volume in here, but it still diverges like this here, still diverges like this, but it is more volume coming in here compared to the volume that we've had over here going up in these trends here. So even though it's diminishing, it's still more volume, and the S&P 500 actually has more volume than this, but still diminishes. I just don't have on the S&P 500 here, I just don't have the volume to show you on this particular one. Yeah, anyway, I just thought I would have a little look at the volume and have a little look at some of the other indicators. So it's basically all step by step, and what we've been looking at here, as you know, is 5 waves to this point, moving up through here, and that's going quite well. Now the Nasdaq has been lagging over the last 2 sessions, and the S&P 500 has taken sort of control and pushed, been a little bit stronger, and I'll show you that there. But let's move in. So yeah, look, at the end of the day, we still got to take it step by step here. I have got this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here for wave 1 and wave 2. There is a possibility that we can have it as an A and a B and a C wave here. To me, it's getting a little bit slim there, so I'll just move these out of the way and put these here. But I will just keep this one here, and I'm just going to sort of put it in the background a little bit. And I'm doing that because the balance of making this new high here is, you know, putting us into more of a bullish count at this stage. And once again, too, with this count coming up here is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, and we've made a little high above here, as I just mentioned in a few stocks. This wave 4, we know wave 4s can get rather complicated, and this is a rather small wave 4 compared to the wave 2 here. So it's quite possible that we actually have this here as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave for wave 4 before we push up to wave 5 here. So in this case here, we've got our 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here. And if I can open this up here, what we've been looking for is up for 1 here, back for 2 here, and up for 3 here, and then back for 4 here. And we'll look at that in a little bit more detail, and then up for wave 5 here. So we can still be in this wave 4 here. The Nasdaq has played out in a bit of a different way, but we'll have a look at that as well. Let's just get a bit more detail on this whole thing here. So we called wave 4 in here because it was corrective at this point. But as mentioned yesterday, I'm mindful that this can be an A wave, an A, B, C here for a B wave here, and then coming down for a C wave over here to have this wave 4 over here. And the Nasdaq presents a reasonable case for that, and we'll have a look at that in a moment. As far as this one here goes, we'd been looking from wave 2 here to wave 3 here, and we're counting up as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and this wave 4 pulled back 38.2% or close to it. Then we're expecting the move up here for wave 5, and then we're expecting a move back again. This is a dance across the 2900 here, and we're looking at this here. So it hasn't got support on this level, it's just got really just arrived there. So this wave 4 here can pull back to this wave 4 of one lesser degree. So in this case here, we were looking for so an ABC to come back into this space, and then we were looking for, let's just take this on here, onto this one here, which will be lower 38.2. Well, it's coming to where it is here now, so that's about right for that. We'll just get rid of this now, it's just noise. And yeah, it's pulled back here. So what we can do, if this is going to move up here, it needs to prove to us that it's going to move up and cover that gap here into wave 5 here. So what we'd be looking for was be getting a position here and also a position on here. And in fact, on here we can look at, I'll just put it here at the 29. We're a little way off that at the moment. We may get this coming down here yet as well. So, but the idea here is to get a position on top of this one, a break of this one, also 2 on top of the 2900, and then we'll scale in on 10, 20 and 30 here, and we can also move in on 50, and then we'll start unwinding the positions at 65, 72 and 80 in here. Okay. Right, so this move down through here, if we look at this in a little bit of detail here, I'm not that happy with it really as a wave 4, but we're just going to check it out anyway. So I could count this down here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and then an extension in the 5th wave here for this. This is 3 waves up. As you can see, this is 5 waves, then this move. So this is a B wave here. So we've got an A and a B and a C wave for a B wave. So I was looking for the C wave down through here, which should be in 5 waves, but I don't really see it. I can see we've got 5 waves to this point, and then we've got a corrective move here. You know, am I supposed to look at this as the 3rd wave and this is the 4th wave and then down for the 5th wave? It doesn't really look right. There's something wrong with this. This is only in basically 3 waves here in a sense. So it's kind of making me think that it's also a B wave here. This is starting to be impulsive here. I can see it would still need to go higher to make this impulsive here. This is pulling back up to, you know, testing resistance and so on here. But what thinking of is that even though this hasn't given me a nice 5 waves here, I need to take it with a pinch of salt, but I will still go long again above here. Essentially support on top of the 2, this is group 2 here, 65, 72 and 80. So if we get a nice support on 2880 here, then we'll go long from that point. We'll build the first trade in here, then we'll build one on top of here, and so on. On the downside here, we know this is at the 38.2% retracement level here, so we may just keep cascading down. This could be down for 1, back for 2, down for 1, back for 2, and moving down much lower down through here. And there is a case for that. I'll just put this on the 15-minute chart here for a moment. And in fact, what I'll do is, so with this count here, we've got wave 1 here, 2 here, and 3 here, and 4 here. That's kind of okay, a little bit, as somebody pointed out to me, that all our wave 3s are a little bit short, just sort of reaching the point there. But and that's right too. But with the SP 500 here, we've got problems here now, because we were looking at this as, you know, going up as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here. We know that this is corrective. We were looking at this here, and I was looking for the 3rd wave up here, but it's come wave 4's pulled back and overlap wave 1 here, so it shouldn't really do it at this degree of structure. There is a chance that we could have this up as, well, wave 1 and 2 here, then 1 and 2 here, then 3, 4 and 5 up here for for the third wave. So looking for a bigger structure in here for the third wave here, then the fourth, and then the fifth. So that's possible there. But at the same time, because if this market moves any lower here, then we will need to look at this a little bit differently here. We would need to look at this here as basically wave 1 down here, and then wave 2, 3, 4, and 5 here as a flat correction. A flat correction is a 3, 3, 5 structure. So 3 here, and 5 here for this. And it's flat because it's just flat, you know, that kind of flat. So that's what we need to work out here. Sorry, just thinking. Don't need that. So just coming back to the S&P here with this situation here, what I'm thinking is that we do have long positions in, and we have taken profits on, you know, part profit on things. I think we need to protect what we've got here at this stage. So I'm going to put the stop in under that particular low here, and we know that we need to go long at that point. You could also, if we're going to go into, you know, if we're going down, we're going to come back down to, you know, looking at all of this here as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave down here. So it's worthwhile going short here, but because we're trading against the trend, I think we should just start off with a small position here. So a smaller position here that we can manage and take a small hit on, that's not going to be the end of the world. And then if that's the case, then we can also look to add under here, under the 50 as well, and start to build in that way. But what we'd be looking for, coming back into the, where are we? Back into the hourly chart. That is the hourly chart. No, here, this is the hourly chart. So it is possible for this market here, we could look at this as like just wave 1 here, and somehow wave 2 instead of wave B here, and coming down for wave 3, 4, and 5 here, and then coming back into this space here. So we just need to be a little bit mindful of that, and we need to be, you know, we need to look at being short over that side of this, under that low there. That's about all I can really say. Is there anything else that I wanted to put forward? I don't think so. That sort of covers it to my best of how I see it. So I will leave it at that. So once again, we're in a bit of a rock and a hard place with this, but there are answers, and there are solutions. So we see the problems and we're presenting solutions, and we'll take those solutions and all good. Alrighty, I think that's it. Thanks for tuning in, and appreciate the support. Thank you.